Right ahead on 12 News, a busy weekend for alcohol sales, the three events that has liquor stores cashing in. Then regulating kids and tobacco.
We're one of the first cities to have instituted such an ordinance.
What Brooklyn Center is doing in an effort to curb youth smoking. But first, a shaky feeling for many drivers that's also proving quite expensive. 12 News starts right now. Rattle, clank, boom, and perhaps a costly car bill to boot. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Alexandra Renslow. 6 days of rain provided another bump in the road for pothole season. It comes at a time when some drivers are already feeling the pain.
The most common things we see are the suspension struts, breaking springs, the struts wearing out.
Dozens of cars have come into this Brooklyn Park auto repair shop over the past 6 weeks. Potholes are causing wear and tear, especially on those older vehicles, with auto repair bills ranging from $100 to $1,000. And out on the streets, all that rain did not help matters. Many city crews were basically sidelined from pothole repair work this week. And listen to this, as the water collects in potholes and vehicles drive over them, let's just say those holes don't get smaller.
The tires hitting that small hole, that water and that hydraulic pressure, that force just drives that loose material out, and it just progressively gets bigger, bigger, bigger until we can get there and do a repair.
Now that we have a break from the rain, city crews are starting to get back out there to do some patchwork. In Plymouth, crews have already used 170 tons of asphalt for the potholes since mid-March.
An equipment problem caused power outages this afternoon to about 25,000 Xcel customers here in the Northwest Metro. Cities affected included Plymouth, New Hope, Golden Valley, and Minnetonka. A spokesperson says the longest outage was about 50 minutes. The power was restored by 2 p.m.
Local liquor stores are expecting an influx of customers thanks to several different big events this weekend.
Hockey, Cinco de Mayo, and then some horse racing.
The trifecta of entertainment options has liquor stores stocked up on everything from Mexican beer and tequila to margarita mixes and bourbon. It's a boost for local liquor stores during this week of dreary weather. One manager admits when Minnesota has a team in the playoffs, such as the Wild, they score big at the register.
Absolutely. There's always an increase when the teams get to the playoffs. And it's not that, it's a little rare these past few years for one of our teams to be in the playoffs. So everybody's so excited.
According to Nielsen market research, Americans bought more than $600 million worth of beer last year for Cinco de Mayo. That's more than on St. Patty's Day or the Super Bowl. Brooklyn Center has a new ordinance that officials hope will discourage youth smoking.
The ordinance increases the cost of cigars to a minimum of $2.10 each. Proponents say the price increase will keep them out of the hands of kids. But a local tobacco shop says it's bad business. Cassie Bonstrom has more.
As the owner of Royal Tobacco in Brooklyn Center, Mike Wazwaz is used to state tobacco laws affecting business. But the passing of a recent city ordinance has him particularly worried.
It's a big impact. We're the only smoke shop in the city.
The ordinance affects the price of his cheapest cigars. Wazwaz sells about 150 of them every day.
These are 89 cents. The most expensive one's this one's $1.75 with a wood tip on it.
Now, any store within Brooklyn Center will have to sell them for at least $2.10 each. Wazwaz is convinced the increase will cost him money and loyal customers.
I feel devastated. Actually, it's going to be really bad for business.
Emily Anderson with the Association of Minnesota Non-Smokers says the ordinance is necessary to address youth smoking.
We know in Brooklyn Center, for instance, in the high school, 37% of the senior males reported having used one of these products.
She worked closely with city council members to take a stand.
We're one of the first cities to have instituted such an ordinance. The city has an interest in ensuring the health and welfare of our people.
Wazwaz doesn't think the price tag, however, will deter anyone. He thinks customers will simply go down the street to the next city.
They can buy it anywhere else, any other city.
That's true for now, but Anderson hopes Brooklyn Center won't stand alone for long.
Brooklyn Center is certainly a leader on this issue, but they expect, and we expect other cities to follow suit as well.
I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
The ordinance passed unanimously at Monday night's council meeting. It will go into effect on June 7th of this year.
It's the top complaint that comes into the Federal Trade Commission every year, identity theft. An expert from the FTC and from the Postal Inspection Service spoke at the Maple Grove Community Center Friday about protecting your identity. Congressman Eric Paulson says his office arranged the seminar because of the number of calls his office gets about the problem.
Protecting your Social Security number is the number one thing that you can do because that's the number one element leading to identity theft.
The number one thing is to be mindful of their information and holding on to it. I think a lot of times people can get careless carrying things around or not disposing of information correctly.
And the second thing to do is to pay close attention to your bank accounts and bills so you can report something if it goes awry. For more ways to protect your identity, visit the Federal Trade Commission website.
Golden Valley has a new fire chief, and it's the first time that's happened in 24 years. The city has appointed John Crelly to take the job left open when former Chief Mark Coonley retired this week. For Crelly, it's a new job, but he's not a newcomer to the force. Crelly served Golden Valley as a paid-on-call firefighter for 32 years. Last year, he was named deputy chief. Crelly has also served as assistant fire chief in Fridley and Columbia Heights.
Plans for a new medical clinic would bring many services under one roof in Maple Grove. Park Nicollet announced plans for a new $48 million outpatient center. It'll bring primary care, specialty care, and even some surgical services together under one roof. The proposed 3-story building would be built near Park Nicollet's existing clinic on 95th Avenue in Maple Grove. Coming up, not all soldiers are headed back home. Up next, we'll have details on a new deployment affecting local soldiers.
Then later in sports, after a few days of rainouts, Champlin Park and Osseo get back on the field in prep baseball.
But first, not a bad weekend in store. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s. We'll even get to see a little sun. You may have seen headlines about our U.S. troops coming home and the military drawdown.
But for more than 200 members of Minnesota's National Guard, an overseas deployment to Kuwait is about to begin. As Neil Persley explains, the mission includes 12 soldiers from the Northwest Metro.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being citizen soldiers.
It's my second deployment.
Nubia Lustman from Plymouth is among those preparing to go.
I'm a flight operations sergeant. So we're in charge of the aviation operations ongoing.
Battalion, attention!
It was a chilly morning in St. Paul as 220 members of the 147th Assault Helicopter Battalion of the Minnesota National Guard began assembling at Holman Field to prep for departure to serve in Kuwait as part of Operation Enduring Freedom.
Let's make sure we get everything done today, prep so we can leave for Ripley tomorrow morning.
This is just the first stop for the soldiers on a very long journey.
Over the next 2 weeks, we'll be in Little Falls, Minnesota, in Camp Ripley. And then once we get to Fort Hood, which will be in June, we'll be there for about 60 days, and that'll be more of our collective training.
All of the company's efforts will be focused around air support.
We're going to be doing a multitude of different tasks to include troop transport in country, operational support for our aviation assets. We'll be doing maintenance operations. We'll be doing probably VIP transport in country.
Like the rest of the company, Nubia will be leaving loved ones behind.
I'm engaged right now. My fiance's name is John. So we're holding off our wedding until I return from Kuwait. We'll be getting married in August of next year.
These high-tech troops have come to rely on technology to keep in touch.
So we'll have FaceTime, Skype, letters, phone calls, texts.
In St. Paul, Neil Persley, 12 News.
The members of the 147th Assault Helicopter Battalion will spend 9 months in Kuwait, and they should be back about this time next spring. Still ahead, a way to get you dancing at Champlin Park High School.
And we'll preview Footloose the Musical coming up. But first in sports, the area's top female athletes are honored at the Athena Awards. Jay Wilcox has that and more when we come back.
Jay Wilcox joins us with Sports Now, and a chance today for some of the best student athletes from the area to get up and really take a bow and a chance to honor them.
Yeah, and a lot of names that you hear about all the time. And some of these athletes know each other, but a lot of them don't necessarily run into each other because we're talking about all different sports and all different schools here. So it's an amazing group of athletes together, all in one room. The 42nd annual Athena Awards luncheon was Friday afternoon in Minneapolis. The top senior female athletes from 53 Minneapolis and suburban high schools, including most of the schools in the northwest suburbs, were recognized at a ceremony at the Minneapolis Convention Center. The list of accomplishments is staggering. We talked to a few local Athena winners.
It's a really big honor. I think that everything I've worked for, it's finally coming into place now, and I can, I have something to show for it, I guess. And so that's kind of rewarding.
When I first found out I was nominated, I was like, really? And then I was like, okay. But I didn't know what it was at first because I didn't really hear about it. And then I was like, okay. I just started noticing what it was. I was like, wow.
I mean, it's a huge honor. I've gotten a lot of congratulations from, teachers, parents, and other students, and it's something I've become really proud of.
And here is a look at the local Athena Award winners, and we'll talk with 3 more winners starting Monday on our Sports Jam show. Well, after 3 days of rainout, some local baseball teams were back on the field Thursday. Champlin Park visiting Osseo for an evening game at Memorial Field. The Rebels get one early as Kip Youngquist bounces one to short. Tim Munn is in to score on the play, and it's 1-0 in the first inning. In the fourth, Munn will drive the ball fairly deep to the opposite field in left, and it gets down for a hit. 2-run score on the play for the Rebels, and their lead grows to 4-0 through 4 innings of play. But Osseo fights back. Stephen Fisher flares a hit just over the fielder's glove here for a hit. Justin Philippon is around to score on the play. Osseo's on the board, and they later pull within 4-3. But the Rebels get 3 in the 7th, including Youngquist's hit down the left field line to score Daniel Cube. Champlin Park wins it 7-3. Park Center continues to pursue the Northwest Suburban Baseball title. Some field maintenance required before the first pitch as Park Center hosts Armstrong. The bottom of the first, a runner on third for PC. Carson Saline's fly ball brings Brandon Budnick in for a 1-0 Pirates lead. The top of the third, Armstrong answers with a sacrifice fly of its own as this one gets out to center field, allowing John Nelson to tag and score, and we are tied up at a run apiece. The bottom of the fourth, Budnick's 2-out hit scores Danny Savanich and caps a 3-run inning. Park Center goes up 4-1 after 4. In the bottom of the fifth, the bases loaded, the Pirates with a squeeze. Corbin Krause's bunt brings home Jackson Bernards, and it's 5-1 Park Center. In the top of the seventh, Savanich on to close, and despite being forced by the umpire to take off his long sleeve undershirt because it was the wrong color, he gets the job done. The strikeout ends the game. Park Center stays unbeaten in the conference with a 5-1 win. Tennis courts dried up enough for some matches to get played on Thursday as well, including Champlin Park hosting Anoka. First singles, Champlin Park's Mikhail Mula in the far court taking on Anoka's Patrick Gallagher. Mula stretches to return the shot, but Gallagher pounces on it. He goes on to win 6-1, 6-2. Second singles, the Rebels' Hunter Fermite returns the serve of Anoka's Mark Sanatza. Fermite with a solid forehand down the line. Sanatza, though, wins the match. Third singles, Champlin Park's Greg Ledre facing the Tornadoes' Sam Skoglund. Skoglund returns Ledre's short shot with a drop of his own, but Ledre gets to it, sends it deep for the winner on his way to a win. Fourth singles, and the Rebels' Alex Verassi against Eric Munn. Verassi sends a winning forehand down the line on the way to a close win. To first doubles, match point for Champlin Park's Alex Hilly and Matt Gullickson against Alex Foyt and Davin Gabla. Hilly knocks it off his opponent accidentally. They take the match, and the Rebels sweep the doubles. Champlin Park beats their district rival Anoka 5-2. And I'm so excited to actually have games.
Yeah, I was just going to say dry courts is a beautiful thing.
That's right.
Thanks, Jay. A well-known movie and musical makes its way to the stage at Champlin Park High School.
We'll get you dancing with Footloose the Musical next in Weekend Showcase.
Here's a way to reduce and reuse and maybe find a bargain. This weekend is the Plymouth Kids Garage Sale. It takes place Sunday from noon to 2:30 at the Plymouth Creek Center. It's a way to find children's toys, clothes, and games, and the sale is open to all residents. Well, just hearing the name of the musical often gets people singing and dancing.
And that's exactly what Champlin Park High School students are hoping for as they begin their 2-weekend run of Footloose. Cassie Bonstrom has more in today's Weekend Showcase.
Even if you don't know the storyline, you probably know the famous song. And it's enough to get you out of your seat and dance, even in the aisles of the Champlin Park High School auditorium. Footloose the Musical is adapted from the 1984 movie. It tells the story of rebellious Ren McCormick, who moves to the small, close-knit town of Beaumont, Georgia.
He is a new kid who moves into the town, and he discovers that dancing is illegal in the town, and there's tons of restrictions there. So what he tries to do is he tries to break free of all the laws, and he tries to make things right.
Ren gets in a power struggle with the local church minister.
I hear rock and roll.
A man whose strict rules are rooted in grief.
He's mainly concerned about his daughter. He's already lost one child. He doesn't want to lose another one.
Betsy Sorensen, who plays the Reverend's daughter Ariel, says Footloose was a great choice for the students. They're the same age as their characters and experiencing many of the same growing pains.
So I feel like everyone at my age is kind of at that stage, especially since I'm a senior. I'm kind of eager to move out of high school and go to college and experience new things. So it wasn't hard to channel that kind of energy.
But even with the life lessons in the story, the show leaves plenty of room for fun and, of course, 80s flair.
And you can feel it. The hair, the costumes, everything. It is straight out of the 80s.
It's got something for everyone. It's got some great music, some good humor. It's a great love story. There's some family stuff. There's something for everyone.
In Champlin, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
Footloose opens tonight and runs this weekend and next. Tickets are $10 for adults and $8 for students and seniors. And the curtain time is 7:30 this weekend and next. Boy, that sounds like a lot of fun. And that's a big deal. They have the orchestra right there.
Yes,
this is
live
not
music.
pre-recorded.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Should be fun. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Community Corner is coming up next. Have a great weekend.